Alright, good morning. Today we're looking at a rebuild of the previous ship that I made, the Southern Cross. And for this one I wanted to take that ship and shrink it down as far as I could while maintaining all the weapons and shielding and all that stuff. So this is what I've come up with. I think the last ship was something like 38 meters long and 5 decks tall. And this one is 27 meters long and 4 decks tall. So it's a pretty significant increase or decrease in size. And I've also increased the cargo to 8,200 on this one. So 1,200 cargo increase over the last ship. I wanted to play around with some of the new Nova parts, so I got these new Stormax. I think they're Stormax. These new Nova cargo containers that tack onto the sides, as long as and these cowlings here, and there's a braking thruster that's new, and these new targeting antennas are nice. So we'll get into the shipbuilder.
We're asking everyone to... Sure, have at it.
So I'm calling this the Templar, just because of the paint scheme. Looks like something from the medieval Knights Templar. But this is it. This is about as far as I was able to shrink it down without getting into like the ridiculous, basically where it's just a frame with cargo things strapped onto it. I was able to get the cargo up to like 8,700, but like I said, it was just a wireframe ship, like with half the weapons missing, and it just, I'm not going to do that. Any ship that I build has to be completely functional. So the weapons are maxed out. I did compromise on the shields. Instead of using that 1,600 health shield generator, that Class C one, I knocked it down to this Bulwark shield generator because it weighs less than half than that other one, and it's only 150 health difference on the shield. So that was really the only major compromise I made. And of course, like the internal hab is greatly reduced. The other ship had something like room for, I want to say like 28 2x1 habs. And you get two 2x1 habs and a three, and a one, two 2x1 habs and one 3x1 hab in this one. So I made it an all-in-one berth. And then two of these control stations to get the max crew up to over 8. And then you get two of these 1x1 companionways that lead up to the top cockpit. And you can see I moved the cockpit to the top. That's because of one of the places I mounted the weapons. Here is right here. And when I had the cockpit sandwiched in the middle like I usually do, it was just firing through the cockpit. And it still works, but it's just disconcerting when you're flying that the weapons are just like shooting right through you. So originally I was going to try to move these one of these weapons pods, or what are they called, 4 spines, to the sides or something, but I just couldn't. I tried everything. I couldn't make it work. Like, you take one piece off and move this and switch it with like something else, and like the ship would just fall apart. Like, I'll give you an example. So I was going to switch it out with this thing, and then move it out, and then push that down. Well, I'm not going to take the whole ship apart again, but I was move the guns down to where this thing was, and then move this up to where the guns are, just basically switch their positions. And then every time I did, I realized the whole ship just falls apart when you do that. There's no way to connect it. And every time I tried to move something, this would happen. Like, something would like no longer be connected to the ship. It would just fall off as soon as I tried to move it. So the way it's set up is the only way I could make it work inside. I don't know. These SAL 6830 engines are the most powerful ones you can get. If you want to have your ship cargo up really high and still maintain that 100 mobility, this is really the only way to do it with the really high cargo ranges. I don't want to sound egotistical, but I don't see anybody ever making ships with this level of cargo and still maintaining that 100 mobility threshold. So it's definitely like time-consuming chore, because it may sound easy, like, oh, I'll just strap on a couple of cargo holds or whatever, but there's always a catch. something that you didn't consider, that causes a problem. Like you think you solved one problem, and then you go to move the ship, and then something falls off because it's no longer connected to the ship, and it just drives you a little crazy. But let's put this over here. As you can see, I got all these fours, these Demo Spine Cs, fours. That's how I've mounted my weapons internally. And I've got them set up to where, is that right? Yeah. So, if I didn't have these guns mounted on the inside, I could have increased the cargo, or the internal hab capacity a little bit. But, yeah, whatever. How am I, let's take these off. And then, so I guess that'll be that deck. And then, so like there's not really a whole lot to the ship. Like I said, it seems easy once you get it all together, but then just getting to that point is the real issue. Let's take these off. I don't want to really disassemble everything here. So basically the ship is just these, or deck 1 is just these 6 Nova Galactic 20 landing gears. And you can see they don't, this stuff doesn't work, or doesn't connect to each other. Each one of these things they don't have any connection points on the forward or aft. So it's held together by the hab that runs in between. Or actually in this case, I think it's going to be these cargo holder, 204 galleon cargo holds. And then right on here, it's going to be a Stroud companionway holding the Stability Pro landing bay, and a Cowling 1LA on the other side, just because it gives us this streamline or a symmetrical look on both sides. It's just a structural piece. It just looks like the landing bay. But once you get the cargo, and then those two are held together by a Stroud companionway one by one, and you just slap another Stroud companionway one by one on top, and you can slap that there. So I was having this trouble earlier. Let me figure this out. Let's take these out. Put those. For the fuel, you're using 2 of these 500T HE3 tanks. And then on the front, so you know what? Yeah, we'll just do this first. Stroud nose cap B, and it can be like top side or bottom side. So we're gonna have it going up or bottom. And then on the sides, we're gonna use 2 of these Stroud cap A's, and these are the same thing. They can be facing different ways. So you're gonna have them facing like down. And then here we're going to use a Fuser DC-403 reactor. On the other side, we're going to use an Apollo GV200 grav drive. And then I don't know why that will suddenly start working. Like, I was having a weird issue where these don't fit until I put these in for some reason. I don't know. This is a vanilla build. There's no flip glitches or anything like that in the ship, so I don't know what's going on there. But alright, so anyways, so this is how I mount the guns, and I guess I should talk about that before we get into it. We're using 3 Obliterator 250 mega electron volt auto alpha beams, 6 Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors, and 3 Exterminator 95 mega electron volt auto helion beams. So these are Class B weapons, these are Class A weapons, and this is Class C weapons. So it's a mix. And you might think that just, you got to have Class C weapons to have the most powerful, but that's not always the case. These most powerful particle cannons are 158, and like these are the Class A weapons, and they're only 6 tons for all 6 of them. So you save a lot of weight, and it's 120. It's almost as powerful as the regular Class C weapons. And the same for this. These are Class B weapons, and I needed these to be the Class B weapons because they're the only ones that would fit on the top of the spines like this, and not block whatever it is you're trying to lay on top of them. We'll stick, yeah, Galleon S204, 2 of them, right behind the grav drive and the fuser DC 403 reactor. Then I'm using a Stroud all-in-one 3x1 hab. Nope, like that. And then, that's not right. No, sorry. Should be like that. Should be just poke it out just a little bit out the nose. That's right. That leaves you 2 spots here behind the all-in-one berth. And one of those is going to be this Vanguard Bulwark Shield Generator. And you can see it's 70 mass. If you look at the most powerful one that I was using, is it the 1800? Yeah, 160 mass. So 60, 90 mass difference. It's huge, huge difference in mass. And it's only 150 different shield power. So using this allowed me to like really free up some design ideas that otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make work. On top of the fuel tanks, we're going to set 2 more of these spine Cs. And it doesn't really matter how you have the weapons inside set up, as long as these Exterminator 95 mega electron volt helium beams are on top, not on the sides, because you want them on top because nothing else will fit on top. Like I don't even think the auto projectors go on top without interfering with whatever you're setting on top of them. But because of the squared shape of these weapons, I guess you can set stuff on top of it like that, and it works just fine. Whereas these things would be just too big. So I was gonna give up and start mounting weapons on the outside until I figured that out, and then once I realized that would work, then yeah, everything was good. You know what? We're going to put that one here and this one here. Like I said, it doesn't matter, but I had the comm spike and the conduction grid mounted on the aft one, the rear ones. And it doesn't matter because, like I said, inside the ship, even in a vanilla build, it doesn't matter. Everything will function inside the ship as long as it's properly mounted. But I wanted them back here so I know where they are in case I wanted to change them out later. And when I came out and when all was said and done, I had 1 free weapons hardpoint left. So I don't know if you wanted to put a scan jammer or something. I don't really run shielded cargo. I never felt the need for it. Then you could put something like that there, and it'd probably work just fine. On top of that, we're going to do 2 of these TIO control stations, 2x1. You see how these things in here are not covered up now. And then the Himeji command bridge go on top. And this particular bridge, you actually have to go into Neon, into the city, and go down up the elevator into the TIO headquarters and talk to the lady at the sales floor. You can't buy this outside on the platform in Neon. I don't know. This one's like the 25 mass one that has the 340 cargo. And then to cap off the nose, we're going to use this Hope Tech Nose B4. To taper off the edges here, we're going to use 2 of these Stroud nose cap C's, and they fit in just like that. Perfect mating with the Stroud caps. And then on top, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put 2 more of these Stroud cap A's to give the nice appearance to the nose cone section here. And then on the sides, we're just going to use 3 of these Stroud Cowling 1LAs on one side and another 3 on the starboard side. So you can see the inside of the ship kind of almost looks hollow from back here. Excuse me, because you know, I'm doing some kind of janky things here with the hiding stuff inside the ship. I like to do this as like a personal challenge because I don't like a lot of the stuff showing from the outside. But you could like switch these up. These things have like a thing here. You can like mount weapons on the top. You could remove the mohawk here and actually put like some more spine C's and maybe a tail or something and mount weapons on the top. There's lots of things you could do to put the weapons on the outside. But like I said, I was trying to make it look just pretty, I guess. So this is the ship itself. And then I guess we can go ahead and hook up the engines. These SAL 6830s, you get those from doing that Stroud quest. All the money can buy. And you have to go inside the... it's a guy named Slayton. You go into his office and you have a woman named Eklund, Stroud Eklund. It's Stroud's wife and co-owner of the company. And she's directing you on the radio, like where to go. And as long as you don't kill anybody, it's a stealth mission. So if you can stealth through the whole thing and you don't kill anybody inside the building, then Slayton will give you access to these engines. And you want that because these are the most powerful engines, easily, but in the game. Now I wanted to try out these new Stormax cargo holds from Dogstar, and I like the way these work because, as you can see, if you were just looking at the outside of the ship, it would just look weird, you know, because I got stuff like guns and stuff sitting in there. So to kind of cover up what I've done, we're going to use 2 of these 120 cargo holds on one side and 2 on the other side. Now you can't see all the weird stuff I did in there. So you can see we still have the reactor exposed and the grav drive. So to kind of hide that, and I use this particular reactor because you can paint it. I think some, like the fuser reactor, I don't know if you can buy that here. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, sheared flow. So this is probably the most powerful one you can get. The problem with this is it doesn't have attach points on the top or the back or the bottom, and you can't paint it. Like you can paint like the frame out here, but that doesn't do any good. Like this big ball is always going to be gold, so it would be very obvious sticking out on the side there. So that's one of the reasons why, and it's only 2 power difference from this reactor to that other one. So we'll live with that. And just to kind of cover up the sides here, we're going to use these 2 Nova braking engines. Go like that. And like that. Now we got a little section here, and what we're going to use are some of these Hope Tech Nose A's. These are actually a different structural piece than this one. This is a Hope Tech Nose B, and this can go forwards or backwards, and but it's always rounded off on both sides like this. That's all you can do with it. So we're going to stick that one there. But these Hope Tech Nose A's, they could be the centerpiece, the right, or yeah, it's the tapered edge to the right or to the left, but they can't face backwards. These can only go on the front. So we're going to stick it in just like that and give it a nice little unibrow here on the front. And then down here on the bottom, to cover up the gears, we're going to use some of these new Nova cowlings. And then do the same thing for the other side. I had the antenna on this side. Not that it matters. So we'll stick one there. And these things can be forwards, middle, or backwards. And this antenna, this is something that's new also. And this increases your ship scanning distance by 20%. And as far as I know, I haven't been able to find anything else that it seems like this is the only piece that you can attach these antennas to. So anyways, I stuck it right there. I don't generally like the asymmetric, like one thing on one side but not the other, but I don't even think you could stick it over here because of this thing's in the way. Yeah. There would be no reason to have two anyways, you'd just be wasting 7 mass. Now I don't, like the idea when I built this was to have no hard points, no module connection points still showing. And you can still see the ones right here below the braking thrusters. Not that it matters because nothing would fit in there. But, well, nothing like large. But these little Nova thruster arrays are really small. And I had the 2 tons of mass left. So I was like, I might as well just use it up. And they go in just like that. So they kind of cover up the last of the hard points there. Yeah, there's 4275. That's the cutoff. Anything adding, like if I add even a 1 ton piece like this weapons mount, that's just 1 mass. You can see my mobility drops to 99. So I've squeezed out every bit of mass that I could get out of this while still keeping this 100 mobility. And like I said, I know I sound egotistical sometimes when I talk about it, but I don't ever see anybody making ships with 8,200 cargo or anywhere near this amount in such a small ship while keeping this 100 mobility. So I put a lot of effort into this, a lot of thought, a lot of trial and experience. So, and at the top, I just used 3 of these Nova cowlings, so you can have the forward. They can be they can be upside or down, or backwards, or you have a middle piece. So I have 3 of them, and they're just set up like that to give it this like mohawk look. Otherwise, it would just, I don't know. It looks fine without it, but it has like this flat look to it. So I was trying to give it a more like streamlined look, I guess. I'd say the only real weakness of this ship is there's not a lot of have space inside of it because, you know, the way I did it is just like it was really hard to cram that much stuff in there into such a small space. I actually do have some ideas how I could make this basically this long. You know, the cockpit would be like right here, and it would just shave off at one by one square worth of length to the ship, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'm sure it's going to be all kinds of problems that I didn't think of. But this is it. This is the Templar, and I'm happy with how it came out. I think it looks pretty good. So we'll take it up for a spin, and I think next week I'm going to do this one, the Golden Glider. So it's a little thing I've been messing around with. I did, like I said, I toyed around with some ideas on how to like crank this up a little bit. Like I completely removed the nose cone. I took this off. Had the cockpit mounted back here. So, or excuse me, right here. So like this whole nose cone, it looked stupid. That's why I'm not doing it. But the ship would kind of look like something like this. Yeah, but I guess it is. What am I doing wrong here? So just imagine the ship looking like just this section right here flying around. This is like a big brick. So, and then I had to start removing some of the trim pieces here, and then all this stuff had to go, the braking thrusters, this stuff had to go. It was getting totally ridiculous. So I was like, no, we're not doing that. But I was able to get the cargo up to, it actually was getting closer to 9,000. But like I said, you're making so many trade-offs at that point that the ship wouldn't be fun to fly anymore. So the first two halves are just these two 1x1 halves. There is a, I don't know, I could delete the not really delete, but remove the mohawk from the top, and actually I toyed around with a couple ideas on how to, the shield inside is the problem, because it just takes up
Got anything you need to offer?
the whole
Sure. How
square
about
inside
it?
the ship. And I could make one more, I add one more 2x1 hab if I deleted that and had it look like that and just move the shield up to the top. That way I could move these guns back. Well, I thought I could. I'd have to play with that. And then, so this was saying, this is one of those problems you encounter and you didn't expect it. It's just like, well, shit. I wonder if it's just that one. Yep. So like I said, that's what I'm saying. Like you fix one problem and then you encounter another. But anyways, you could increase the length of. You'd have to move, yeah, some of the stuff around. You'd have to extend this 2x1 hab into, or 1x1 hab into a 2x1 hab. You could make it work, is what I'm saying. But I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to keep everything off the top of the ship, and off the sides, as far as weapons and shields and everything. I don't think having that one extra 2x1 hab is going to make any difference. But see, the ladder didn't go all the way up to the top, unfortunately. Or the one ladder. So you have the 3x1 hab here. So you have the sleeping quarters, and then you have like a little kitchen area. And then you have the two 2x1 habs here for the crew to work. Pretty sure a ship like this taking off this close to the city, everybody would be deaf. The thing would be so loud. I used to work at Vandenberg Air Force Base when I was in the military, and it was so loud, the rockets taking off, and I wasn't even remotely close to where they were launching. Like I'm miles and miles away, and it was just deafening. So these things are supposed to have like grav drives anyways. I don't know why they use like thrust engines like that. What am I doing? We'll fly over to Serpentis. Shoot a few of the boys from Maroon. And I'll see how it goes. I'm using all of the auto projector weapons instead of the non-auto. So if you don't know how it works, the non-auto projector, or excuse me, the auto projectors always fire at full power, but they'll deplete their energy banks. And then depending on how much energy you have in the allocated to those weapon systems, that determines how fast they recharge. So you can see, like, you can't just fire forever, is what I'm saying. Now, if you have the non-auto weapons, they always fire, like you can just fire forever, but how hard they hit is determined by how much power you have in each system. So I prefer it this way with the non-auto weapons, but some people like it the other way. You know, I wish it would leave that one point in the grav drive. I don't know why it changes that every time. Why does every planet have an asteroid field?
You shall be judged.
You're going head on with an enemy. Don't just fly straight at them. Like, hit your boost, and then maybe hit your spacebar to brake after a few seconds, and then boost. It breaks the lock that they have, so they can't just continuously shoot at you. You don't want to just fly head on and let them blast you in the face. The same thing whenever you get a missile lock, just boost for about 1 or 2 seconds, and then hit the spacebar. It just breaks the lock. They can't lock onto you while you're in afterburner. So, one of those pro tips. Not that I'm a pro. I got this idea to build a Cylon Raider, like the old 1970s one. So I'm going to play around with that. It's probably not going to work, but we'll see.
Aha! An offering for the great serpent.
See, as soon as I boost, he stops firing at me, and he can just fly out, and like, he won't even take damage. Gotta be within 500 meters to get any kind of loot. But that's it. Let me fly up here into the sun a little bit, and then get some glamour shots from the outside. So this is it. I'd say a good quarter of the entire ship is just these engines. They're so huge. If you look in here, you can kind of see, where I've hidden some of the stuff inside. Oops. I keep forgetting the buttons make you go up and down. There's shields down in here. But I generally don't like super large ships. I don't think they're necessary. Unless you're just, like into that sort of thing. But most of the HABs in this game really don't have any real function, like captain's quarters or like computer cores or what. Well, I guess computer cores could give you a guy or an extra crew member without having to use the control hab. But like I said, or the brig, I don't think those actually do anything. But yeah. Anyways, I'm happy with how this came out, and hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.